Choreography is one of the most misused words within the anime community. It's up there with writing, mid, peak, and Mushoku Tensei is a good show. That last one isn't a word, but I hope you understand my sentiment. Fans have a wide range of opinions regarding choreography in anime. Some think hand-to-hand combat is the only example of good choreography, while others think that the mere presence of flashy effects animation takes away from it. And like most things in the world, there's your social commentary for the week. Neither group is correct. Now, very briefly, let's go over the meaning of the word choreography. Traditionally, it refers to the art and technique of planning and arranging physical combat sequences. That's what ChatGPT told me, and I'm too lazy to double check. But that doesn't really apply to animation. There is no physical combat. There are no sets, actors, or cameras. None of it physically exists. Yes, she is in fact not real. In live action, there is a clear distinction between acting and cinematography. The action takes place regardless of the cameras. However, in case of animation, the action and the camera work are effectively the same thing. Complex camera work is animated in the same manner as character movement, so it feels wrong to not include camera work into our definition of choreography. The word also I know I said I'll define the word briefly, but stay with me. The word also includes the overall flow between cuts. Again, according to ChatGPT, all hail our AI overlords, I am but a servant. With all that in mind, let's toss the dictionary definition of the word to the side and create our own meaning. It's a YouTube video, not a TED Talk. Let's just call everything that goes into the creation of action storyboards choreography. So let's clear up a few misconceptions. Good choreography is not limited to close quarters combat. A scene can have explosions flying all over the place and still be well choreographed. We'll go through examples in a second. In my opinion, there are 4 things that make an action scene good. These are context, foreground action, utilization of the environment, and the overall flow. Context is perhaps the most overlooked aspect. A fight needs to consider who the characters are and what the setting is. I will use a few examples here. Sukuna vs. Mahoraga used choreography that utilized scale and surrealism. As episode director Hakugo said, it's not supposed to be easy to follow or understand. These are 2 insanely strong characters. Their strength defies human logic, therefore they should not fight like regular people. Their fight was inherently different from, say, the one between Yuji and Chozo. The latter involved 2 strong guys getting physical in a bathroom. Not like that, although that shirt lift though. That's not the same as 2 all-powerful entities nuking an entire city like it's nothing. That, however, doesn't mean that they just did stuff. There was a lot of thought put into every action. We got a glimpse at that thought process via Weilin Zhang's storyboards. I highly recommend going through those notes. Another example would be the fight between Berserker and Saber Alter from fateheavensfeel 2. A fight that gets hit with the all colors, no choreography allegations. And here's my expert commentary. And hold on to your seats because it's going to be insightful. His name is Berserker. He's not going to fight using carefully honed martial arts skills. That's the point. Look at the fights from Mob Psycho Season 2 episodes 5 and 11. Despite the overlap in staff members, the nature of action was completely different, and so was the LSD intake of the 2 directors. One was larger than life, while the other was a lot more grounded because again, context. Fights don't exist in a vacuum, they are a part of a larger story. The next factor is foreground action, and this is what most people associate with the term choreography. It is therefore very easy to explain. It's the stuff the characters do, the character movement, the intricacy of the exchanges, that stuff. Close quarters combat tends to have an inherent advantage when it comes to this aspect. The idea is to present movement in a sensible manner without any gaps in logic. The intricate nature of well-executed close quarters combat is usually the best example of this. Standout examples include every well-animated fight from Naruto, every well-animated fight directed by Sangu Park, that one-time Classroom of the Elite actually looked good. Seriously, where did that come from? Tetsuya Takeuchi's works on projects like Kara no Kyokai and many more. The third aspect is utilization of the environment. This can be a part of the previously discussed foreground action. A fight that acknowledges and uses its environment is, by default, more engaging than one that doesn't. Context plays a role here. Some fights might take place in a barren land, while others might feature characters so powerful powerful that the surroundings stop mattering. Regardless, a fight that uses its surroundings feels more real. The background is its own dimension that needs to work hand in hand with the characters. Solo Leveling did an excellent job of translating the relatively one-note action from the manhwa into combat that made clever use of its setting. Whether it's the train and pillars from episode 4 or the chandelier from episode 12, large-scale fights can also use their environment. Look no further than Berserker punt-kicking pillars and throwing half a castle at Saber. He threw half a castle at Saber. People wonder why I like these movies so much. He threw half a castle at Saber and she batted it away. The aforementioned Sukuna fight also utilized its environment. Cranes, planes, buildings, half the Japanese automobile industry, they used it all. The environment doesn't need to play a direct role in the action. It can also be used for visual storytelling. Again, this makes the fight more engaging. And finally, we have the overall flow, which is an abstract concept. Allow me to do justice to my channel name and be pretentious for a second. All action cuts have energy. This is created through build-up. This energy can either be released in the same cut or transferred to the next one. A firm grasp over this energy payoff/transfer makes a scene flow well. Look at this sequence from the Chainsaw Man opening. Denji easing in towards the camera is the build-up, and the energy is then transferred to a different cut and eventually paid off in the form of an egg cracking, which by the way is genius. Sticking to Chainsaw Man because that tag gets more views, episode 3 was wonderfully animated but did at times lack an overall flow. For example, this cut is the payoff for the previous one and simultaneously the build-up for the next one. Denji sends the Bat Devil flying and this is the build-up for it. The payoff is the bat exploding out of the building. By holding on to the pre-exploded building for a second, they reduced the energy, as a simple shot of a building isn't a part of the build-up. This is a problem as the bat falls to the ground at a relatively uniform speed, which doesn't allow for an increase in energy, but the following two cuts transfer and release energy that doesn't exist because it wasn't allowed to build up properly. That's why this entire sequence, despite being wonderfully animated, feels a bit lacking. At least it does to me. This energy transfer can also be complemented through camera work. A recent example would be JJK episode 16. That volatile camera motion added so much to the overall energy. On top of this, you have stuff like shot compositions. Some are more dynamic and fun to look at than others. With all that in mind, some fights simply flow better than others. Compare the aforementioned Chainsaw Man episode 3 to the next one, or look at fights like the one in Solo Leveling episode 11 and you'll see what I mean. Flow is very much a part of choreography and it's just as important as the other three aspects I talked about. Various shows might have various requirements when it comes to action, but these four components are common throughout most, if not all of them. Action isn't just about creating cool shots, it's about creating cool shots that make sense and flow well into the next hopefully cool shot. So the next time you claim that a fight is well or badly choreographed, try evaluating it from these angles. That's about it. Liked the video? Check out this other bit of content on screen. Like and subscribe, and until next time.